hi parents, or grandmas, or grandpas, or aunts and uncles, cousins, blood relatives, relatives by marriage, relatives by choice, relatives by kidnapping. Any of you?
Maybe just this one gets a little risque.
A little intimate.
A little sexy.
The opposite of demure.
A little sexy. The opposite of demure. So, if you don't want to hear us discuss nudity, the sexualization and fetishization of the homosexual in America.
Maybe skip this one.
Maybe just do a little skibbity-doo.
A little skibbity-doo. Skibbity-doo.
Skibbity-doo.
Skibbity-doo.
Skip to the loo.
My family.
And skip this one. Because it's about to get sexy.
Stank.
And 3, and 2, and a scoodly doodly doo, and a 1.
Oh, I thought the clap was like on the doodly doodly doo. Oh, no. Okay.
I gave you an and a 1 because I didn't think I was giving you like enough.
Yes, that's okay.
You were right. My natural instinct would have been a scoodly doodly doo.
And a 1.
I wanted to give us like a...
Yeah, I see.
Like a prep
yes.
and turn.
And...
Like a prep jump.
Yes. I see what you're trying to do.
I tried to help you, but you were too on it. You were too ready.
I was thinking of what would a musical person do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You were in my head.
And you were in mine.
I thought I was in yours, but I was in the mind of a lesser Cory.
You were in the mind of a layman.
I'm Natalie, and I, for the last 5 years, have lived entirely off of Wheat Thins and pamplemousse-flavored LaCroix.
And I'm Cory, and I'm that kid from high school who used to play with lighters and carve their name into the back of their desk, and now they own a gym and they're ripped as shit. And this is Pathetic.
And Poetic.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome.
The pamplemousse got me. That's my least favorite LaCroix.
Pamplemousse.
I don't like it.
I had a catering shift tonight, okay. And we turned pamplemousse into a heinous euphemism all night. We were cracking jokes.
Was it like fucking?
Like genitalia.
Oh.
So I was like, that guy Rob, he's got the biggest pamplemousse I've ever seen.
Oh.
And he in turn said, Natalie has the most cavernous pamplemousse of all time. Yeah, it got dirty. Should we cut that out?
No. No, because this is our dirty, gross episode. Dirty and gross. Mm. Oh my God! Wait, is this our flirt episode?
Oh no!
Finally! Yay!
Oh no! This is bad for everyone involved.
I mean, finally.
Oh,
yay! God. I'm so excited to be here with all of you. I think I'm gonna open myself a cold, refreshing beverage. Is it skunked? Ooh. We're about to find out, because it was left over from New Year's. That's right.
That was a sexy can crack.
A perfect can crack for a perfect podcast. That's horrid. No, I'm kidding. Actually, it's pretty good.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it's like a sweet...
Yeah, I don't feel like beer really goes all that bad.
That's not what Google said.
At least not very quickly.
That's not what Google said.
Oh.
But I would never know what a skunk beer tastes like because I drink beer so rarely. It's just the only thing I had in my house.
Oh, okay.
No, but my friend, I think I can call him a friend. I've seen him a couple of times. Twice. We're acquaintances.
Okay.
But he works for a company designing their beer labels.
That's really cool.
That's like the dream. That's the dream of every designer in design school is I just want to work for somewhere and make labels for alcohol, because usually labels for alcohol don't give a shit and you can do whatever you want.
That's awesome.
The more colorful, the more wild, the better.
That does sound like a dream job. I was just going to say, highlight of my week, I got to see Take Me Out on Broadway.
What is that?
Which, if you don't know, is about it's a play. It's currently on Broadway for a couple more days. It's closing on February 5th. It's starring Jesse Tyler Ferguson, Jesse Williams, and a bunch of other phenomenal actors.
Okay. No, just a bunch of other Jessies.
Bunch of other Jessies. No, like phenomenal actors. And it is about, it was written and is kind of set in 2003, and a Major League Baseball player is coming out of the closet.
Oh, wait. Oh, he's the guy from Grey's Anatomy is in it. Yeah, yes. And he's naked. And everybody was talking about his dick for a while.
Everybody is naked in this show.
Oh, really?
And so it was one of the best things I've ever seen. It was such a good play. It was so well written. It was so well acted. The whole cast seemed so like, I mean, there was not a weak link on stage. Even the people who had like relatively like smaller parts, like they came in for... Don't insult their
parts, okay? They had to be naked for that show.
I mean, like there was a man who he actually played Tim Kono on one of my favorite TV shows ever, Only Murders at the Building. He was playing this Japanese baseball player who spoilers, they at least think can't speak a lick of English. So nobody talks to him. He's like silent. He's like very isolated on this team. And then he has this monologue like right before the end. And it was like, it had me in tears.
Was it the only time he spoke the whole show?
He had this other section where he converses with another player who does not speak Japanese, but understands it.
Okay.
So he's talking to the player and he's translating for a third player. But neither of them can really talk back to him.
But the monologue is in English.
So the monologue, yes, is in English, and that's a spoiler. He reveals that he said one of the best decisions he made was sending away his translator the first week he was on the team. And that he's picked up enough English that he, like, all the English he could possibly need.
Damn.
Yeah.
Crisscross.
And so he talks about, like, his philosophy on the game and, like, how he plays. And it was stunning. And, like, this kind of, I don't want to give it away.
You're giving it, I mean, you've spoiled so much of the show.
No, that's not even the main plot that's happening. Like, this is all in the midst of something tragic that has happened. And
like in the world?
In the play. It's
not based on
their
reality.
World.
In their world. Okay.
It was just, I thought, stunningly beautiful. And a really, like, the whole thing with the nudity, everyone was making such a big deal about it. Yeah. And some photos were leaked, which I think is the most depraved thing you could possibly do in a Broadway theater.
I agree.
They collect your phones.
I did look for the photos. I'll be 100% honest.
Hey, I mean, as someone outside of the experience, I don't necessarily blame people who looked up the leaked photos, but I'm babbling, and I don't want to take up too much more time, just like reiterating some other piece of art that I think everybody should go and see. But
I was actually going to comment on your piece of art, and then we can continue talking about it. About nudity in shows, and nudity in art, and nudity in other things. Okay, so because this is relevant to something that actually just happened to me. It didn't happen to me. Anyway, I'm making this sound much more dramatic than it is. I went to an art show in Chicago, and it was called The First Homosexuals. And so what it is like, it's homosexual art from, I believe it's like 1860 into 1930. And it's from all over the world. They have Iranian, Japanese, Chinese, European, American, Italian, German, other countries, I'm sure.
Yeah. All the places. And so, but it was like peering into another reality, like an alternative universe where homosexuality was acceptable or something. It was like learning lost history about the world, because it was all
in the style that you're aware of. Like if you know what, 1800s Japanese art looks like and you've seen it before, and then you also see it of like two men fucking, and you're like, that is nothing I've ever seen before, but that is something I've seen before, but not like how I've seen it. Does that make sense? Like, it was just wild. It was wild seeing that. And
like in a brand new light.
Yes, because I mean, there is no education on gay history, period. Except for like the snippets of things that you find in like Reels and TikToks, and they're like, did you know that Alexander the Great was gay? He had 7 lovers. And you're like, oh my God, I never knew that. And that's it. And like, you just assume that like gay people sort of sprouted out of the ground in the 1950s.
It's so funny because even in like our studies of, you think about these time periods that you go through in school and like what you study about them, like you're really gonna present Greek mythology to us and like the whole ancient Greek civilization and not bring up the fact that there was like acceptable presence of homosexuality?
Yeah. And like, and I get the initial knee jerk of like, oh, well, homosexuality means fucking and we don't talk about fucking to kids, even though it is implied and everything else.
And isn't that, it's wild that like that in itself is like, it's the people who least want to think about.
Yes.
Like homosexuals, the people who are like the most homophobic, who are automatically fetishizing.
Yes.
Homosexuality.
Well, and I think the thing is, if they didn't give a shit, homosexuality would have just been about the fucking. But you tell people that something is not allowed, that something is not okay, and of course, they're all going to clump together and they will form their own community. And then the community makes the word mean more than it did originally. And so like gay culture, if homosexuality was accepted from jump one, there wouldn't be gay culture. There wouldn't be a need for an additional group of people who have felt marginalized, who have felt overlooked, and who have felt like trampled upon. They wouldn't have needed to form their own collective because there would have been nothing to hide from. They wouldn't have been like, you wouldn't have needed to develop this own pocket system of which you felt safe.
Right.
Homosexuality would have just been about the fucking.
People hadn't othered you.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. That was entirely off topic of what I was going to talk about.
No, that's like an interesting point. I've never thought about it like that. I'm currently reading Song of Achilles.
Okay.
Which is, again, probably some spoilers. I don't know what I'm giving away. It's a retelling of the story of Achilles, but like with him and his gay lover.
Achilles.
What? Achilles. No. No, but it's like they have mentions of that, of there being like they would have like servants or slave boys, that it was very normal for people to just like, even nobles, and like it was known that they had boys that they kept around for their pleasure if they were so inclined.
One of the things they talked about in the museum was that people in Greek and Roman culture would often have sex with young men because it was less risky than having sex with young women because they'd get pregnant.
Right.
And back then when like not to say that children aren't revered now, but I think in the past it was much more, I don't know, like sacred to have a kid. Like I think it was maybe more evolutionarily based of like, I'm furthering my line, I'm furthering my name, that type of thing. Yeah. And the idea of having bastards maybe wasn't. I don't know. Right. That is a pure speculation.
Children were completely they were tools.
Yeah.
For the most part. Yeah. They weren't unless they were only valued for their uses. Mm-hmm. Furthering your family name, furthering your line, having an heir or whatever. Yeah. Or having, your son grow up to be a good soldier. Yeah. Like, that's all it was what they were good for. Yeah. It wasn't, oh, I dote upon my son because I had a beautiful baby with, like, no.
Their uses are because they're useful.
Right.
Yeah. So
like, it was about securing your lineage and making your house have like continuity in the future.
Yes. So I think, I don't know, that it is, I mean, that's the thing of all like history teaching, is that it leaves out the grossness. I mean, it leaves out the losers. It leaves out the people you had to slaughter in order to win. But it's just like, look, we won. Like, it leaves out all of
the
that.
The raping, the pillaging.
Yes. Yeah. And homosexuality has been swept under the rug with that. And so it was interesting going to that show. But also, it was a lot of nudity. It was a lot of, like, mid-penetration.
Oh.
It was a lot of, like...
Penetration.
I was like, a cute word for it. There was a lot of what was the thing that you came up with? Your friends talked about at work for gaping and lengthy.
Oh, pomple-moose.
Pomple-mooses. Yeah, there was a lot of pomple here, and there was a lot of mooses over there, and the whole thing.
Oh,
and
I'm dead.
And a lot of butts, and
so many butts.
There was a bit of me that like wanted to stay away from it, like view it in context, and then also view it out of context, and was fairly aroused throughout the whole show, but also wanted to observe the art. And I've seen other things that have had nudity. Like I went to go see AfterGlow in 2018. You don't know what AfterGlow is?
No, I don't know what that is.
I just figured I could like name drop a play, and you'd be like, I know that. I'm a play. So I'm a play. AfterGlow is this show with 3 men. I think it's more of like a black box show or whatever. The one that I saw, I don't know, I thought it was really, really cool because there was a shower. So it was the theater in the round type of thing. And it was surrounded by all these little boxes that could be like chairs or tables or whatever. And then there was a big shower in the middle. And so when they were on the bed was the middle. And then when they didn't want to be on the bed, they like lifted up the mattress part and put it away or something. And then whatever was holding the bed up then became tables. And then there was like you know those like circular black corrugated things when you're like in the pool bathroom and you got to walk on it instead of walking on a sleepy floor, you walk on those things. It was like that. And so then the shower would come down and it would like drain all the water, and then they would all shower together. And the plot of the show was this gay couple that's opened, and they bring another guy into their relationship, and they have a great time with him. So the show starts with the 3 of them naked in bed together. And they're having like cutesy pillow talk. Then all the bed moves. Then they have a sexy shower together that like is very sexy, but almost means nothing to the whole show. It is almost like very pornographic.
Okay.
And homoerotic maybe is the better word for it. And anyway, so the show is about like one of them falling in love with a third guy more than the other guy, and blah blah blah. And how does the relationship survive and the whole thing. But also a thing where like, it's interesting seeing nudity and live nudity in a way that is not in a sexual context, but still viewing it from and like with and without that lens of like attractiveness. And yes, I don't know. I sort of lost my point there. I was just like, you were talking about it.
It's interesting. Like, I've never heard of that show before, but interestingly, Take Me Out is sort of takes the opposite perspective on that. So it's this whole baseball team, and it kind of opens with the whole team and the world finding out that this guy he's like their star player, he's like someone, it's Jesse Williams' character, someone everyone looked up to. He was sort of relatable in every way because he was mixed race. So like Black kids looked up to him. White kids looked up to him. Everybody found him racist people found him like not too offensive. Yeah. And he was just sort of like someone everybody could agree on that they loved.
Yes.
And so he felt sort of untouchable. And so when he came out, he kind of wasn't expecting anything to get all that ugly. Because nothing bad had really happened to him in his life. He was just like grew up in a like middle class normal family and then was a really good ball player and like skyrocketed to fame.
Yeah.
He just like had a really good life. And things start to happen that like crack that image of the world for him. So he goes from being like just on top of the world, like nothing can touch me, like a little cocky, but like not even so much that it's all that off-putting. He was just sure everything was going to go right for him. So there's this whole conversation in the shower where the whole team, except for Jesse Williams' character, I think, is there. They're all showering together, and one of the players starts saying, like, they're kind of like shying away from each other, turning away from each other, and he just has this whole speech about how they used to shower together and not think about it. They would smack each other on the ass. They would dance and joke around in the showers, and now suddenly they're hiding from each other, and literally nothing's changed other than the fact that they knew that Jesse Williams' character was gay.
Did they all know he was gay before, or no?
Nobody knew that he was gay before.
Okay.
So it's like, he was still gay. The only thing that's changed is they know now.
Yeah.
And suddenly they're not joking around together anymore. It's all uncomfortable. Everybody's like kind of hesitant around him. And his teammate is saying, like, you guys are like stupid. You're being so ignorant right now because nothing has changed. Why did we stop smacking each other on the ass? Why did we stop like being able to look at each other? And when we do, we make sure to maintain eye contact. Like he sort of calls them on the fact that even though it's a normal part of life, there's nothing sexual about the fact that they shower together every day. Suddenly it feels like there's some sexual pretense to it. And so it's like, it's this really interesting conversation of like, when do we sexualize things and why? And it's like so meta because you in the audience are sitting there looking at a bunch of like fine ass naked men in like not at all a sexual context.
But the show is basically holding a gun to your head and saying, I dare you not to get a boner. Like
a little bit. I mean, it was kind of like, it was like, think about yourself and when you sexualize people and when you objectify people and why do you do that?
So then the true irony of somebody posting a picture of...
Exactly!
That's wild.
It's so incredibly disappointing.
Like, they didn't even watch the show.
That's the point. It's like they came to that show to see Jesse Williams naked, which is the whole point of the freaking show. Is that
sexualized.
Like, nudity doesn't have to be sexualized. Nudity can be about just your natural everyday life. Like, why are we so uncomfortable with the naked human form? And when it is in front of us, why do we automatically jump to sexualizing it?
Yeah. I can't help but feel you're slightly yelling at me after me saying,
I went to this
exhibition and everybody was nude and I was turned on. No, I'm not at all, because that play obviously had a different perspective on it, or they were trying to tell a different story. Yeah.
I find it so like fascinating that like nudity can be employed in live theater and live performances in such different ways.
Yeah. Well, like I did a shoot when I was in college where I got it was kind of like I was kind of doing like a Robert Mapplethorpe knockoff type of thing. I didn't know that that's what I was doing at the time because I didn't actually know who Mapplethorpe was. And at the time I was like, oh, what if I did like really cute abstractions of the gay form? And I did them in black and white with really high contrast, but I like cropped them so you didn't know you were looking at like a gay form. And I thought that was brilliant at the time. And so I had gotten like 6 guys to come over to my apartment. And in retrospect, it was probably the sketchiest thing they'd ever been asked to do, because I was like, okay, well, this is such a sidetrack. I was like, first of all, where do I find people who would be comfortable getting photographed naked and who are gay? And I was like, okay, I'll go to Grindr. So I went to Grindr. Mm-hmm. And I made my profile like looking for models. It's free, blah, blah, blah. So many people canceled. Like so many people were like, I'd love to do it, and then never responded. And then when I tried to get everybody to like give me their numbers to move it from Grindr over to my phone, then so many people dropped off. And so when I finally got 6 of them, I was like, yay. I mean, I think I originally had 10 models scheduled and 4 of them just never came.
Wow.
And because I couldn't take them into the studio because they were going to be naked, I was like, all right, well, I'll just do it in my apartment where I can control the lighting. But I needed to smooth out the corner of the wall. So I had like a ream of white paper that I shittily taped it over the corner of the wall to smooth it out. It looked like I could have just killed them all, rolled up the paper, and that would have been that.
Did they like bring any friends?
No.
Wow.
I was like, hey, like I live at one of the like dorms on campus.
Did you
or
send
not
like
one of the dorms, one of the apartments.
Did you send like a website?
For
a portfolio?
Yeah, I mean, I probably did. I told them my name. I sent the pictures of me. Like, it wasn't that anonymous. It was like, here's my face, here's my name, come to my apartment.
No, but I would just be so hesitant.
Oh, yeah.
I know, like, obviously I'm different from the people that I don't know if you know this. I'm a woman.
Are you?
We get killed a lot. So
Right.
Right. I would never go to get naked in a man's apartment alone.
Yeah. I mean,
for photos?
Since I have gone to be a model twice.
Oh.
But one of them came to my apartment and I went to the other one's house. And that was like the one that I was going to, that was the one that I was like a little sketched about. And so I messaged one of the other people who they had drawn on their profile and I was like, hey, how was it going to this person's place? Was it fine? They're like, they were totally cool. And I was like, all right, fine.
Cool.
So,
because like literally the beginning of that was like word for word what Jeffrey Dahmer did. He was like, I'm just going to take some pictures.
Did he really?
And you can add it to your modeling portfolio.
I didn't know that. Oh shit. Okay, fuck. Well, a bunch of people were willing and a bunch of people came. So, they're either incredibly unaware or I'm incredibly comforting. I don't know.
You do have that kind of like
just
warm hug kind of presence.
Come into my darkly lit bedroom and stand on this white paper thing on the ground and
don't worry about the plastic on the ground. So it looks like Dexter's kill room.
100%. Oh, it totally did.
I'm dead.
Yeah. But so I was like photographing them and they were all naked and it was like, I just kept telling myself and I was like, don't become one of those photographers that then becomes known as like, oh yeah, that's the guy who like, he'll touch you, but he'll give you really good photos and you can't tell anybody because he'll say, or like, you know, like those like stories I feel like you always hear. And it's usually women. I feel like that it happens to, but I just didn't want to become one of those people. So I was like, I just will not sexualize them at all. And I think because I got so laser focused at finding like the certain, like their stegosaurus spine or their clavicle you could eat soup out of, like just the little bits of their body that I wasn't really looking at them as a whole. And I didn't even consider like them as anything. And it actually turned out that one of them did want to fool around with me and was kind of peeved that I didn't make a move. And I was like, come back. And they were like, no, I've got plans now. And I was like, come back.
Oh, no.
So.
I mean, better to err on the side of caution, though.
Yes. But. So. This is a story that I love telling. And I don't know if it's a podcast appropriate story. So you'll have to tell me. But one of the photos that I had was just a profile of a penis.
Okay.
And there was a drip coming out of the penis, as if the person was like aroused, and sort of. And so I saw it and I was like, fascinating, a moment, and I took a picture of it. A moment.
I'm dead.
And so then,
you artist nerd.
Yeah.
A moment.
And that was the guy who ended up wanting to fool around with me. What he had said later was that he was very turned on and he had like, that was him. Like, anyway, he was aroused. And so you had to show your proofs in class. So like you got them printed, you hung them up on the wall. And I like was not worried at all. Because I was like, this is my project. Like that was the thing. So I hung it up and my professor really liked it because it was like, he mentioned Robert Mapplethorpe and I was like, totally, it's very Mapplethorpe. And then I like Googled it and I was like, fuck, it's the same thing. And so then like 2 days later, I overheard someone talking about that they were in photography class and their professor was talking about this guy who had this picture for this project of this drippy dick. And so it became known as the drippy dick pic. And then they found out that it was me, and they're like, you're the drippy dick pic guy. And I was like, I don't want that to become my name. I really don't. And so my professor like was either very impressed or very embarrassed that I did this series, and then it all seemed very cohesive, and then I really went out of my way to like do all this stuff. And then he talked about it, and then I became known as the drippy dick pic guy. So I don't know if that's a podcast friendly story, but I'll definitely check the is this explicit content box on the thing, because we talked about nudity the whole time anyway. But different contexts of like nudity and things like that. I don't know. It is just something interesting. I mean, especially with the Sam Smith music video that just came out. I don't know if you're aware of any of this.
I haven't seen it yet. I need to.
But are you aware of the controversy and the outrage?
I heard someone talking about the controversy, but he was like, everybody get your shit together, because like it's fine for like
Harry Styles.
Women to do this as long as they're like a, stick skinny with big boobs and blah, blah, blah. Or it's fine for a man to do this if he's like jacked and like white. I don't know. Like he was saying, like, everyone's fine with this as long as it fits beauty standards in the right way that people want it. And now that it's like a non-binary person doing it. So I haven't seen it. Yeah. But from context from that video, I understand it to be sexual and something. It
is. I mean, like, it would be as sexual as I would say, like, the Anaconda music video was, or the Side by Side music video was. Like, the Anaconda music video is just a bunch of people in the jungle twerking. Side by Side is a bunch of women riding exercise bikes, but, like, fully with their asses a mile in the air. So in the Sam Smith music video, they're wearing like a white cream-colored corset or whatever that's got them like cinched at the waist. They're wearing pasties. They got on panties, and then like, what are those called? Garters that like attach to the panties. And then and then like a bunch of like chains and diamonds and things like hanging from I guess the corset down or whatever. Okay. And then there's also a part in the music video where they're like puppeteering asses in the room, like everybody's like kind of bent over in like downward dog, and they're like puppeteering them, and they're like rising and falling, the whole thing. That was like the one scene that I saw, because I haven't seen the entire thing, but I was hearing all of this controversy, and I was like, okay, and I was like just reading all the things, because there's so many people that are like, they're like, this is what's wrong with whenever, and these people are my children, like, and it is that controversy of like nudity in context, or exposure in context, or exposure in art, and that way of.
Well, I mean, it sounds like not even anywhere near. What was that Megan Thee Stallion video that came out like summer of 2021?
Oh yeah. The pussy one. Wet ass pussy.
Yeah, where she
WAP.
like.
WAP.
No, it wasn't even WAP.
Oh, okay.
Was it Body?
I don't know.
It might have been.
My vote was WAP, and that was incorrect.
It's not. It's Thought Shit.
Okay.
Have you seen that music video?
No, I haven't. Sent it to me.
Oh. It's a lot of asses.
It's a lot of asses.
It's not like full nudity or anything,
yeah,
but like
a lot of rippling
so now
asses.
I want you to scroll to like the very end.
The end? How far? Oh my god, his mouth is a vagina.
It is.
Oh, he just stuck his mouth out. He stuck his tongue out of a vagina. Oh. Yeah. That's wow.
So like nobody had shit to say about that.
I mean, I'm sure they did. I'm just sure it did make national headlines.
Probably. Sure, it made national headlines.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just it's very disheartening as somebody who I'm still, tangling with gender, you know, and not knowing which way, of whatever. And I mean, and I've talked before that like pronouns almost don't matter to me, because they're only important to somebody else. Like it's me giving a term that lets you know something. The problem is everybody's definition for whatever that thing is different. So it doesn't matter. Because if I say I'm a man to a conservative from the deep South, versus I say that I'm a man to like somebody my age living in the city versus if I say it to another gay person versus if I say it to you. I mean, it's vastly different on what you think a man is. So me telling you that as a term doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But even as I'm exploring all those type of things, you know, I have a bigger body. I'm covered in hair, and I think I look good in a dress, but others don't think I look good in a dress. And I follow, what is his name? His first name's Look, I think. A-L-O-K. But they are kind of a champion for non-binary people with body hair. And with beards and full face makeup.
Oh, I've absolutely seen them. Yes, for sure.
And you know, and they post a lot of their
stunning looks.
Yes,
always.
They post a lot of their hate comments on their Instagram and on their Twitter, and you see shit like that, and it just makes me feel horrible.
I'm sorry.
I mean, we were originally talking about boners, and now we talked about boners of the heart, but you know, boners of the heart. It's just, there is no, I think a lot of our other conversations, have ended up having some type of completion or some type of resolution.
Yeah.
And it's just, there's a wide variety of ways to show and consume nude content and sexual content. And I think the problem is that there are a lot of people where I've had animation clients before where the stuff that they've referenced have been from the 1970s because the last time that they saw animations was when they were a child. And so they only know animation in the context of the only time they've known animation, which was as a child, not knowing there was a full breadth of animation, and the animation continued well after they turned 12. And so the idea that you believing that nudity only extends to this like lewd pornography or whatever. Dirty. Yes, it is a show of your ignorance, not of the like deterioration of modern culture.
Yeah.
Like, and not even ignorance in a bad way. Literally ignorance in the proper sense of the word.
Like you don't know what you don't know.
You're just not aware.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, that will never be the case. The same way that like the definition of man or the definition of woman will never be the same across the board. The definition of like sexual and nudity will never be the same across the board because of how different everybody's sexual experiences are and everybody's exposure to nudity.
Yeah, I think I love that as a wrap up. There's always going to be kind of there's no good way to wrap this up. It's just sort of like it's interesting to see art that opens up our eyes to like different aspects of like sexuality or just. Should we pause?
Oh no, I was okay.
Woo woo.
We hope they make it to the fire emergency on time.
I hope they do too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just interesting to see art that opens up our eyes to a way we hadn't thought of before. So like asking interesting questions, and in this circumstance about like, what does nudity in a live performance mean? And it looked at in a very different way in the play you were talking about, Afterglow, versus Take Me Out.
Yeah.
And then kind of forcing the audience to take a look at themselves and open up their eyes to something new, hopefully, if they're not being so irredeemably ignorant that they're leaking nude photos about it. That pissed me off. There was a girl in the audience who did like call out a couple times.
What'd she say?
One was well before the nudity happened. Jesse Williams was having a conversation with Jesse Tyler Ferguson. Also, side note, Jesse Tyler Ferguson's very first monologue in the show, which was in no way about anything serious. He was just talking about baseball. Weeping. I was in tears. But anyway, they were having a conversation and he said, fuck me. Like, fuck me. And she called out, I would. And the way I wanted to, like, get up out of my seat and just say, it's not about you.
Like, shut your mouth.
A 2-hour experience to sit through. Can you let it not be about you for 2 hours? Like, she just shut up. And then she called out a couple other times during said monologue where Jesse Tyler Ferguson made me cry. And he sort of, I couldn't tell if it was, like, just him living, or she said something and it almost looked like he was like, and he put up a hand. And I think she got the hint because that was the end of it. I think she was just like a dumb, drunk bitch.
Yeah. I mean, it's exactly what I said the other day where I was like,
I hope she's somewhere with a nasty hangover still. That's all.
Well, like, if you want to make noise at a performance, get the fuck up on stage.
Well, like, it's a Broadway show, so don't. But
well, no, but it's you want to make this moment about you? Cool. Do 2 hours. Make the whole show about you.
Yeah.
Like, you want your moment? Okay, that's nice. That's nice. But only because you're feeding off of somebody else's moment.
Right. Right.
So get the fuck up on stage, make us entertained, make us cry, show us your dick, whatever. Like, let us sexualize you the same way that, like if you're going to call somebody out.
Put yourself, like, make yourself that vulnerable to a crowd of strangers. Yeah. And then we'll talk.
Also, how drunk can you possibly get on, like, $12 mini glasses of theater wine?
I mean, she must have pre-gamed, because this was like maybe 12 minutes into the show.
Oh.
Early days. It was early days.
Well, speaking of poetry. I did have...
Now that we've ranted about every other art form for a little bit.
Well, we could just get nude right now. We could do our poems nude.
They would never know.
I know. Oh my god, you're taking off your shirt.
I'm really hot.
Oh, okay. She's
got a very conservative bra.
Slowly unbuttoning her blouse.
Nope.
She's wearing
a sweaty t-shirt.
The t-shirt says TKTS on it.
It does not.
No, it doesn't.
You get out of here. You get fired.
She's wearing the granny panty equivalent of a bra.
I really am. It's the most conservative sports bra.
It's basically a back brace.
It's pretty much a back brace. Oh my god, there's a line in The Good Place where Kristen Bell says she uses she was talking about how in a pinch she could use a back brace as a bra. And I was like, what? Oh.
Should I take off my shirt as well?
Whatever's going to make you comfortable. If you're the naked neighbor.
I'm going to join in the fun.
What about, like, this is kind of broad. What about just, like, a poem about intimacy, whether it's, like, physical, emotional, mental, friends.
Okay.
Lovers. Family. What intimacy means to you. Or an intimate moment.
Okay.
An acrostic poem using the word intimate.
What's an acrostic mean?
That's when you put the letters down and you do the...
Right.
You remember when they used to make you do those out of your name and...
I was thinking acrostic, which is a type of wax.
Oh.
And then I was thinking...
I don't know much about wax.
Accosted, which is also not the same. He accosted me. Help, I'm being accosted.
Help.
I
was just sitting here in my granny panty version of a bra and I was...
The landlord walked in and said that the pipe was 150 degrees and he accosted me.
He accosted me, I tell you.
You've never been accosted like this.
I hope my family doesn't listen to this.
Yeah,
Sorry, Dad.
This would be a bad one.
Well,
how'd you do?
Folks, our discussion today might be better than any poetry you're getting.
It was a very good discussion. How did you put it? What, the muse didn't visit you tonight?
The muses did not visit me tonight.
I think it is it's an okay poem. I think there's...
Sometimes, I want to say most of the time, when I write a poem, and especially a poem that I feel like is good, I feel like, actually, I think what it feels like to me is there's a roller coaster going through and I hop on the back of it and it is like, I'm like, gotta catch it and gotta hang on the flow of it or it's gonna pass me by. Like, I feel like it's running ahead of me and I have to like hang on for dear life if I'm gonna get to the end of the poem correctly.
Okay.
Correctly, quote unquote. But like if it's gonna find itself and fall into place in the right way.
Okay.
When I'm writing like, that's when I'm writing a good poem. And then other times when that's not happening, which honestly, it's few and far between. I feel like I feel very lucky that that happens to me a lot, that I catch the train. However loose my grip might be to the caboose of it, I catch the train shows up for me. It's more reliable than the MTA. When I don't, it literally feels like I am a cartoon falling down a fire escape of like a 50-story building. So it's just like clunk, 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 and then I get to a landing and then clunk, 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 clunk.
That's a very good
clunk,
visual.
Clunk. That's how I felt tonight. I was just a tumbling down the fire escape. Hidden every damn stair.
That's a very good visual.
Thank you.
I wouldn't say that honestly, I think it was the beer.
I'm sorry. I screwed you.
I'm going to say it was the beer. You screwed me. Because you brought up, hey, do you want to drink at the podcast tonight? And I was like, yeah, sure.
Here was my workaround. I have been only drinking socially.
And this is social?
Because it's like, I thought about doing dry January because I'm just trying to like cut back on how much I'm drinking. I never feel great the next day. But I also love to have a nice drink. So I was like, and also if you're going to hang out with people in New York City, normally like if you're meeting people halfway between, like there must be drinks involved or everything else is closed. Yeah. So I was like, I'm not going to do dry January. I'm just going to drink socially.
Moist January.
I wanted a glass of wine tonight. And I was like, well, I'm hanging out with Cory, so...
It's basically social.
If he has a drink... I didn't mean to peer pressure you into it and ruin your poetry, though.
You didn't not peer pressure me into it, but you didn't peer pressure me into it. I didn't feel pressured.
Good.
I think the word you said was, well, I'll have a glass if you drink too.
I said, if you did want to partake in a beverage, I'm going to have a glass of wine.
Yeah. No, I think it could have been the beer. It just made me a bit slower. But there are a lot of times where you go to write something, and as you're writing, you worry that you've never actually written before.
Yeah.
Because of what you're writing.
Yeah.
That it's so boring. It's not bad. It's just boring. Like it says nothing. It's got nothing additional to say, and like it's almost so boring there's no reason to say it.
Okay, so good note. Natalie and Cory on the intimacy, not so much.
I mean, but I am good with intimacy, but also I think I have written, I think the love muse has come in and it has floated away, and I'm sure it'll come back. But just not on this. I think everything I tried starting sounded like another poem I'd written. And so then I sort of went with an odd form with it to try and do that. So
well, I think, in the interest of honesty and like full disclosure and just being true to our artistic process, I think we should share these poems. I think we're being honest about where we're at, honest about how we're feeling about them. Yes. Listen, when you're an artist, not everything you do is gonna be we've had this conversation before. Not everything can be your best, because then what is your best? So it's fine.
This podcast is, if anything, just a verbal diary.
It is. That's true. Thank you for joining us.
It's got the weird poetry that you write in your diary. It's got the little doodles in the corner.
You're right.
It's got a bunch of, blindly untrue statements, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Jokes you try to make to yourself, and then knowing that your future self will read this or listen to this and not find it funny.
That's true.
It's got all those things.
All right. So, do you want me to read my crappy poem first, or do you want to read your crappy poem first?
How do you feel?
Since we're both pathetic.
I could go either way on it. How do you feel?
Okay. I could also go either way. I feel like
Shit fuck.
Shit fuck. I'll go first.
Okay.
I'll go first.
All right.
That's
I believe in you. You've got this. This is great.
Call me your last first kiss. Call me your best way home. Call me the sunrise you waited years for. I'm missing a green I've never seen. Teach me what verdant tastes like. I know you know. I'm missing all the cerulean that never filled my eyes. Speak to me in tongues and in turquoise. I know you know. And how shall I call? Will you know me by my words, or by the painted corners of my smile, or by the tread of my shoes? Should I wait for you in that breath between songs, or just at the bus stop? I want to hold your hand so long the tide doesn't just bury our toes, it sinks us all the way to our collarbones. I want my morning coffee to taste like your irises, to love you so hard that every lost eyelash wishes for you in its descent. I will memorize your face, paying your bills, drinking your wine, stealing a bite, watching your favorite movie, memorize the ricochet of your eyes in REM and how it feels to run my index finger all the way down every mile of your jaw. And I'll think of you memorizing my poetry or my songs, but maybe it'll actually be the exact directions my hair curls, or the ways I misspell words, or the palms of both my hands, or just the best way to say my name after midnight. Love me by my most vibrant sunrise, by my looking for the best way home. Love me like a last first kiss. I'm saving all my best jokes for you, all my chills, all my butterflies, all my best words that mean I love you.
I should have gone first.
What? No.
That was so sweet.
Fine. It's fine.
It was very visually Natalie. And it was very sweet, and it was very...
feel like I've written this poem before, but like better.
It maybe was missing like a certain earnestness.
Yeah, because I thought it sucked.
No, not like that. Like it's only like you tapped the surface of Natalie poetry. You didn't delve into the full depths of it.
Well, because I feel like this, it's sweet, right?
Yeah, it is.
I feel like this, because my thing that I've said before is like, I like to mine an idea to its absolute bottom.
Yeah.
I feel like this poem was basically my my body horror love poem that I wrote a couple episodes ago.
Yeah. I guess if you are comparing those two, that one was, I guess, better than this one. like if it's that one versus this one, and I had to only choose one. But that's the thing. It's
like I feel like it's the same poem. Because I said like call me. I said call me when you're a skeleton of yourself and you want to like be in skeleton love for eternity. And this one I was like do. I want to lick your eyeballs. Maybe.
Okay, but then maybe you just had like linger, like you talk about wanting to like complete what do you say? Dive or dig fully the depths of an idea. Is that what you said? What did you say?
Yeah. I like to dig to the absolute bottom of an idea.
Yes. And so maybe you didn't hit bottom last time, and these are like the leftover, I was going to say crumbs, but like these are the last couple shovels full of dirt that just didn't make it into
That's
that
true.
one.
Maybe maybe it's like kind of the opposite, where like if I went to the absolute deepest depth of an idea, what are all the stages of it that I missed along the way? Like, what is the permutation of it being lighthearted? What is the permutation of it being like a little dark, but not quite, when your eyeballs fall from the branches of your cheeks?
Or like, you know, when like comedians will do jokes, but they'll have alternatives.
Yeah.
In their like alternative punchlines or alternative whatever things. Maybe that, what you just wrote, they're just like alternative bits that you could plug into your body horror poem.
Okay, yeah.
Where if like there are parts of your body horror poem that you're like, oh, I don't love how this is, but this is better. You know, they're just, it's your second string. It's your bench players. You know, they're just there just in case somebody else gets
That's going to be
injured.
the title, is a second string love poem.
Second string love poem. Oh, I thought it was going to be bench players.
Bench players. I didn't even notice. I even started it with "Call Me."
But like, because I was doing the same thing with mine, where like I started one poem that said, "If I could, I'd strip myself bare." That seems like something I've said in a previous poem. Or I had another one that says, "I'm sorry I didn't cry for you." That like those, it's that type of thing.
Yeah, it feels
sounds
a little
like the
familiar.
way.
Yeah.
Yes. And with that note,
let's hear your poem.
Always. Oh my god, I totally.
Oh my god, were you about to say goodbye? Get the fuck out of here.
Yes. I forgot that I hadn't read.
Always. It's gonna be a long one.
The beer is getting to me, man.
Really?
Yeah, once I start saying man, you know I'm lost. I'm either I say man when I start to get a little tipsy, or when I'm like when I've hit the edge of my limit, like emotionally.
Oh.
So like when I get really frustrated and really angry, I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know, man.
Not sure, man. I don't know, man.
I don't know, man. I don't know what we're doing.
That's so funny. That's good to know. I'm gonna file that away on in my little brain.
And that's my code. This is my poem. It's about intimacy. It's entitled Intimacy, and this is my poem. Should I read it in my sexy voice?
Yeah, if you want to.
Okay, sure.
If you're feeling sexy.
It might help.
I don't know why I just did like a Sean Connery voice.
Sexy.
If you're feeling sexy.
I'll do it in my Sean Connery.
You know what I just realized for
What?
me right now?
What is it?
My Sean Connery and my Grinch are the same.
So are mine. I've now realized. Sean Connery should have just been the Grinch.
That's upsetting.
That's incredible.
My whole life is ruined now. Would you like to read your poem?
Yeah, I'll do it. Okay. The sound of buzzing espresso inches from my daily SSRIs is intimacy. And when we take our pills in the morning through sips of foam, I'll say bottoms up and clink our pills together. The taste of the same granola I've bought for the last 4 years is intimacy. And when you buy the wrong bag, I will not throw a tantrum. The first time. The Cory-shaped impression I'm building in my mattress is intimacy, and it's in the middle of the bed, so we'll need a new mattress anyway. My favorite chair stained in one place only from where I rest the armpit of my knee on the armrest is intimacy. But I'll sit on the couch with you if you want. The pens on my desk in the case on my desk next to the notepad under the tablet next to my laptop is intimacy. Please don't chew on my pens when you're thinking. They're like $3 each. You do look really cute when you're thinking. Weekend animation all-nighters, blaring show tunes and singing like I own the building is intimacy. I'll wear headphones, but I'm still allowed to sing, okay? Staring each morning at my own eyes, looking for a contact lens I lost in 2011 is intimacy. We'll find a place with a double vanity so I don't make you late again. Listening to Defying Gravity and Somewhere Over the Rainbow on every flight is intimacy. but I'll give you a headphone and cue up yours too. The last time I truly cried in 5 years was at the premiere of Avengers Endgame, and that is intimacy. I feel like I'll cry for you, or because of you, or over you. What I'm saying is, I want to be with you long enough to know your intimacies and make you one of mine.
Oh, that made me tear up a little bit.
Did it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because it's just like, it's all the little things that are just your life and how you live, and like it's sort of the things you don't think about, and then like when you do find someone that you want to be in a relationship with, it's the things you start to like worry about, like your little idiosyncrasies that you don't ever think about in your day, but then when you want to welcome someone into every aspect of your life, you're like, oh my God, are they going to think I'm insane? Are they going to, like, hate the fact that I sing when I'm doing these all-night drawing sessions? Are they going to, what are they going to think about the singing on my couch?
They're going to move my pills. They're going to move my pills. They're going to put my pills in the medicine cabinet. Wonder why we don't put them in the medicine cabinet. And then I won't take my pills for like 3 days. And I'll be like, what the fuck?
And it's all the things that are that's the actual stuff of it, you know? Yeah. That's the actual love of it, is that they might move your pills and they might impose new rules on you or whatever for that kind of cohabitation or the sharing of lives. But it's always like, when it's the right person, it's both worth it, and they love you not even in spite of it, but it's those things that they're going to love you for. Yeah. Even if it takes a little, like, fiddling with to get the both of you in sync with each other. Yeah. Yeah. That was I think, like, kind of just, I don't know, so sweet. Yeah.
In retrospect, it does sound kind of like, it sounds like a poor man's OCD poem.
No, I don't think so. Really? I think it has its own unique feel to it. Okay. It feels very like, I feel like I say this all the time, this phrase, but it feels slice of life in love. Yeah. Slice of love. Slice of love. I would like a slice of love.
Just one slice, please.
Just one little slice.
Do you have any in strawberry?
I have.
How about in virgin soul? Can I get a slice of that? No.
No.
Fresh out? You've walked away. What's happening?
A virgin to light the black flame candle. But yeah, I thought that was so sweet and lovely, and
thanks.
We are now taking submissions to find partners in love and in life.
Yes.
If you like our poetry and also feel as though the humor that you hear on this podcast is something you could put up with,
if you've made it to episode 12, I would imagine you can probably put up with just about all of it.
Yeah.
After the puke can episode, I think you know.
If you made it through the puke can episode, we can hang.
Wait, should we each do, so we could be, I'll say your dating profile and you say mine.
Okay.
Natalie she's a nubile 20-something.
Not nubile.
I don't actually know what nubile means, but it actually fit the accent. Natalie is in her supple 20s. As she is currently wearing a granny panty bra and headphones on one ear. She's got a large painting of sunflowers, which is kind of cute, maybe a little bit basic, but we don't know. But she's got a record player on her dresser, which means she's an alternative bitch. So if you like all of those things, and you like somebody who will likely be a star of a musical and traveling for months on end, and Well,
That's true. I will leave you alone a lot.
if you like cooking for yourself and living by yourself in an apartment built for two, then perhaps you'd like to date Natalie.
Wow, what a glowing endorsement. I can't wait to see what kind of amazing people are going to write in and say, that's the girl for me.
Sounds perfect.
Here's the thing about Cory.
Yeah.
He's hairy, he's smiley, and he's always ready for a good time.
That's true.
If you like someone who one beer is gonna ruin their night and seems to be absolutely obsessed with the 2 Train, but also makes pretty art and pretty words, and has a large group of lovely queer men with questionable morals. I can't.
What are you talking about?
I don't know.
Oh, you're like just describing that there's like 7 questionably moral queer men behind
No,
me?
I was talking about your group of friends.
Oh!
Should I cut it out? I cut it out. What did I say? Pretty words? Obsessed with the 2 Train. Where was I? If you like someone who likes to do weekly karaoke,
I do.
and will be very serious about the material that they pick,
Yes, I
and
will.
you better be ready to go when he's ready to go. If you like someone who looks kicking in a dress, but also requires a lot of maintenance for their curly hair, give him a call. Pick number 3, my lord.
So I was gonna say dial but what was like the dial in American Idol numbers
Oh my god.
when you had to like call in and vote? It was like you're gonna call it 1-800-3 for
Text J to
for Ruben Studdard.
555.
Oh no, this was before texting.
Yeah.
Like the first
That's true.
3 seasons or whatever. I think that's it for this week, man.
Let us know if you want to date our crazy asses.
Yeah, I mean, hey.
Well, and just another warning. Like, at least, like, you were talking about your SSRIs. Like, at least you've got your medication situation fixed out.
Yeah.
I am raw dogging it out here, just as a warning to everyone. ADHD, unchecked. Anxiety, rolling. Fueled by much coffee. Just want to throw that in there as a warning label.
Yo, what? I couldn't tell if that was an endorsement for me
God,
or
no.
if that was an
no.
anti for you. I mean, that's one more thing to remember.
Yeah,
And
you
always
should
remember.
always remember it, and just make sure that you tuck it away, lock it in,
Fold it in a folder, and then put it in a drawer.
file it
Lock
away.
that
You
drawer.
seen Dr. Sleep with all the filing cabinets in our heads?
No, I haven't. So
And-
that reference.
Oh, well.
We can say, never forget.
So remember that.
Yeah,
Cory
always.
doesn't know that reference, but you
I know.
remember it.
Everybody who does know the reference, make sure you remember it. And everybody who
It's
doesn't know the
your
reference,
responsibility now because Cory doesn't know.
the thing you do have to remember is this moment right here.
Yes, and then also don't then forget it.
Yes.
If you're working on the always remembering, then you're not forgetting it. That
when you lock your remembrance file cabinet, then you must remember A, where did you put the file cabinet? And then B,
Yes.
where did you put the key to unlock the file cabinet to remember the thing that you weren't supposed to forget.
and
And goodbye.
goodbye.